passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I'm one of the few people left. I have been offered a large sum money to go away, but I determined to stay here. Everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right.
I look right. Are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport. The passing plane can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for the some reason it could not be used then. Over 100% and over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I'm one of few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. Over 100 people. Passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined. To stay here. Everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. And sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by passing planes. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. And everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes and slowly during the man, and I live near an airport, and passing planes can be harder in the night and day. The airport was building in the war, and some reasons it can be called not be used there, and 100 of the people has to live by driving away from their house by the noise, and by the noise. I am one of a few people who live. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked by the passing plane, and I have during a large sum of money to go away, but I am direction to stay here, and everybody says to me, you was a man of the noise, but I think it's probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was good during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered some large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Man or not, aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live an airport and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could be not used then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered a lot of some money to go away, and I am determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing plane can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been led away from their homes by the noise. And I'm one of the few people who have. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing plane can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their house by the noise. I'm one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people have been driven away from their homes by the noise. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing planes. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I am determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me. I live near an airport, and the passing plane can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not use it. Over 100 people has been left.
driving me mad. I live near an airport and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used back then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. I sometimes think that my house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I am determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been different used then by 100 people must be driven away from their homes by the noise. I'm one people of the few people left. Sometimes I think house will be knocked by a passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. Everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war, but some reasons could not be used then. And over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I'm one of the few people left. I think this house will be knocked down by the passing planes. I have been offered the some money to go away. But determined I stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Mad or not, aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes can be heard night and day. The airport was built during the war. For some reason, it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I am one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been lost of some money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. And everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Airplanes are driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes are here night and day. The airport was built during the war, and for some reason it cannot be used then. Over 100 people was driven away from their house by the noise. I'm one of those people left. I've been offered a lot of some money to go away, but I'm determined to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and they are probably right.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport, and passing planes
can be heard night and day. The airport was built during war, but for some reason it could not be used then. Over 100 people must have been driven away from this home by the noise. I am one of few people left. Sometimes I think this house will be knocked by passing planes. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away, but I am determined to stay here. Everybody say I must be mad. Everybody say I must be mad, and they are probably right. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aeroplanes are slowly driving me mad. I live near an airport. I live near an airport, and passing planes can be heard night and day. But for some reason, it could not be used. But for some reason, it's not could use that. Over 100 people must have been driven away from their homes by the noise. I'm one of the few people left. Sometimes I think this home will be knocked down by a passing plane. I have been offered a large sum of money to go away. I'm recommended to stay here. Everybody says I must be mad, and